Hi kids, how you doing? I'm sure the sound quality is terrible because it's raining, so there's a lot of road noise, plus the rain hitting the windshield. Plus, I never had a good mic in here anyway, so what are you gonna do about it? Y'all just aren't donating enough to my G-String account. Anyway, I have a mea culpa to make. 2018 John knew that CJ Grisham was a fraud. 2019 John seems to have forgotten that. The newer, gentler John, I guess, forgot that. Anyway, long story short, I did a video called something about two frauds, talking about Earl and CJ Grisham, and birds of a feather flock together. I tell you what. So last night somebody was asking me for, somebody was asking my Discord for links because they couldn't figure out how to Google CJ Grisham. So since I had already done the research, I just gave them a link to that video, and that reminded me. And then, as luck would have it, as it generally seems to do, I was directed towards a Pigman Joe video, where Pigman Joe is bemoaning that he called out Earl David Wharton to OCT a long time ago. Back when Nabato Sai was arrested and Earl was a witness. Now Pigman Joe has some of the details wrong, and I am not saying that Pigman Joe's a liar. I'm going to say that Earl probably perjured himself on the stand. He probably knew that the prosecution had access to his criminal record, but probably didn't know all the facts. And so Earl told the story, and it is one of Earl's stories about he was a young man, 18, 19, 20, and he had sex with a 17-year-old. That was one of Earl's stories, and that's the one that Grisham's buying. So I think Grisham got it from Earl's mouth too. Excuse me. Anyway. So I think Earl perjured himself on the stand by making a less repulsive story than he raped a woman with a firearm, as in literally raped her with the firearm. Now, he didn't get convicted on that. He got charged with aggravated sexual assault, but he only got convicted of sexual assault, so everything with a grain of salt. Assault, get it? No? All right. Well, anyway, Pigman Joe is bemoaning that his warnings went unheeded, that sympathetic law enforcement officers who were sympathetic to Open Carry Texas tried to warn them that there was a felon carrying a firearm, and that it was basically placing the whole group in danger. Now, Pigman Joe thought it was RICO. I don't think so. It might be, because felons carrying firearms is a federal crime. But if the local police were looking into it, then it would be criminal organization, or organized crime. That's what it is. Organized crime 71.02. So apparently David Ahmad and CJ Grisham knew about all this stuff, and because CJ Grisham liked David, I guess, because he was bamboozled by David's charm, and everybody who's met David is basically come across with David's a charming guy in person. He's got the smile, he's got the wink, he's got the deep baby blues. I mean, some people got it. I'm not saying I do, by the way. I'm just saying some people do. So they were bamboozled by him, and now Open Carry Texas is trying to cut people off and basically hide their association with Earl David Worden. Well, CJ Grisham's retarded because the internet never forgets, and lying isn't going to help. What CJ Grisham should have done is CJ Grisham should have come out and stated that, you know, he got bamboozled by basically a known liar. But he didn't, because he's dumb and he's too proud. And remember, he's a trained interrogator, so he can't tell the truth now. No. It's gonna his lies are gonna build on themselves, and then eventually they're gonna collapse into a shit heap around the feet of CJ Grisham. Again, you know, I've said this ever since I've said anything about it. The very first thing I said about these small-timey, local, maybe statewide Second Amendment groups, they always turn to shit. Like, it's always by the people with too much pride and not enough smarts to make it in the national organization. Always. And CJ Grisham is a classic example of too much pride and not enough smarts. I mean, say what you will about me, I'm not the one out there open carrying with a felon. Open carrying with a felon who's open carrying. Making videos with a felon who's apparently open carrying in some of these videos. Not with a black powder weapon. If you listen to Pigman Joe, who's a member of a Second Amendment group, I can't help but think he understands what an actual Ruger, not a black powder pistol, but an actual Ruger. What is that Ruger Nighthawk that Earl was bragging about? Pigman Joe seems to think that's a real thing, and he also was apparently carrying a short-barreled rifle. I mean, shit's getting real. Shit's getting real. So CJ is probably hoping to weather the storm. He's probably got his fingers crossed, his legs crossed, his eyes crossed. He's probably got everything crossed, hoping that Earl manages to squeak out of this, that he wasn't bedding down with a pedophile. You know, there's two kinds of people out there, and you know, everybody, like I said that, you know, I was suckered by David at the beginning. Hemming was suckered by David at the beginning. You know, everybody's suckered by David at the beginning, but it's the people who figure it out and the people who are smart enough to disavow and walk away. Those are the people that you should put a little bit of confidence into, not the people who double down on their lies. Anyway, that's really all I had for today. If I remember, I'll link Pigman Joe's video. It's long and rambly. Again, it's essentially Open Carry Texas is throwing him under the bus because Open Carry Texas doesn't want to admit to their culpability in welcoming and endorsing a pedophile into their ranks. So, yeah, and he goes on. Oh, there's one other thing which does directly point at the integrity of CJ Grisham, and this is an allegation, so take it with a grain of salt. But the allegation is that when Pigman Joe was arrested, and his mom basically put up all the money for his legal defense and everything, CJ Grisham wrote essentially a promissory note saying that he was going to, and Open Carry Texas were going to take the debt. They were going to assume the debt. And apparently CJ Grisham gathered a lot of money from OCT members for Pigman Joe's defense, and apparently Pigman Joe's mom only got $500 of whatever money was raised. So you do the math. Pigman Joe seems to think it's somewhere around 20 grand. I can imagine that. I mean, legal defenses, especially if you're fighting it all the way, they can get expensive. If you're fighting on every point, that's a lot of attorney time involved, a lot of court time, a lot of research time, a lot of writing time. That's a lot of time involved. So I can totally understand that. So what would be swell, CJ Grisham, you little bastard, would be if you paid Pigman Joe the money you owe him, and you publicly disavow your association with a known felon who was open carrying, a known felon who not only has 2 weapons charges, felon with a firearm charges, he has a vehicle theft charge, or convictions, I'm sorry, these are convictions, and he has a sexual assault conviction, and it was an aggravated sexual assault, a sexual assault with a firearm charge. You are hitching your little group, your Open Carry Texas, you are hitching them to a shit wagon, sir. And I think they maybe should have a no confidence vote in you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.